Good day to everyone. So today our lecture will be on certified reference material. So class, the challenges that are faced by the analysts and the CRM manufacturers is basically due to the compliance, decreasing the detection levels and increasing the number of compounds. So basically, what really defines a standard and why we have to use certified reference material in your analysis. So basically class, there is two different terms, okay, that I'm going to introduce in this lecture, which is reference material, and another one will be certified reference material. So basically reference material is okay, it does not meet all the criteria for certified reference materials, whereas certified reference material, okay, the main principal difference is the additional of evidence of metrological traceability and statement of measurements uncertainty will be provided on the certificate for CRM. So basically class, CRM is more details will be provided on CRM compared to the reference material. Okay, so when we talk about the accreditation, so why we need CRM for the accreditations? Actually class, okay, it's under the ISO 17025 guide 34. Okay, you have to use CRM, okay, in your analysis to prove that whatever that you are doing is accurate. So now let's move to another slide. So class, now basically accurate analysis, when we talk about the accurate analysis, so we have to think of what are the traceability, homogeneity, uncertainty and error that might happen, okay, during the analysis, and how are each defined and measured. Okay, well, error. So in our analysis, how do we reduce the error and contamination in the analysis? Okay, that is one thing. So in order to reduce the error, we have to do triplicate. Okay, so and even the way you are pipetting will play an important role as well in your analysis. So class, now what practices, procedures or the habits that lead to increase the error? So basically it depends on person, what type of practice that they practice in their laboratories. Okay, so that that kind of practices will introduce the error. So now so students, you may refer to ISO 17025 under guide 34 on the usage of CRM in the analysis. Okay, you may get a lot of information under the guide number 34 about CRM. So students, ISO 9000's family of standards is focusing on quality management system to meet the needs of the customers and to meet the statutory and the regulatory requirements of the product, okay, which is published by the International Organization of Standardization. Okay, although the both ISO 9001 certification and ISO 17025 accreditation do have some overlap, but they are more or less independent. Okay, so ISO and reference materials. So in 1991, ISO Guide 34 draft is more on the general requirement for the competence of reference material producers. So in 1996, the Guide 34 published, the latest revision was done at 2009. In 1999, okay, ISO Guide 25 is for the general requirements for the competence of testing and calibration laboratories. In 2000, it became ISO 17025, okay, which is reissued in 2005. So here class is basically you have to focus is ISO 17025 and the guide 34, okay, which is 34 is more on the CRM producers. Okay, so all the information about CRM, requirement for the CRM, what the CRM must have, so all the informations is is contained in the guide 34. Okay, so you can refer guide 34 class. Students, let's move to ISO 17025. Laboratories must basically demonstrate the management system, technical competence and technically valid results. And apart from that, harmonization of standards and procedures, okay, which should be complied to the international standard, and equivalent results among the testing bodies should obtain, and equivalent accreditation bodies in countries using the international standard. Okay, so now ISO Guide 34 allows the transfer of the results from CRM to labs for calibration of measuring equipments, evaluation or validation of measurements procedures, and it requires CRM producers to demonstrate the scientific and technical competence and the ability to supply the information about their materials. And a CRM producers is defined as the technical competent body that is fully responsible for the supply of the CRM and authorize the property values assigned to the CRM. The most appropriate document dealing with CRM production is ISO Guide 34, which is the general requirements for the competence of reference material producers. This guide basically outlines the quality system requirements under which reference materials can be produced, and it is intended to be used as a part of the reference material producers' general quality assurance procedures. Students, let's move to the quality systems for CRM. ISO 9001 is the general requirement, which is a quality management system, while ISO 17025 is testing and calibration laboratories. Guide 34 is for the CRM producers, and requirement for manufacturers of CRM. So the organization and management requirements, for example, quality systems, documentation, services, and supplies, preventive and the correction actions, audits, and reviews are usually covered when the laboratory already is certified according to the ISO 9001 or accredited under the ISO 17025. Well, in ISO Guide 34, there are few additional requirements that deal with the production of CRM, okay, which is the production planning and maintenance of a suitable environment, starting material selection and pre-treatment, assignment of the CRM property values, uncertainty and traceability, assessment of the CRM homogeneity and stability, assurance of proper packaging and the storage, and certifies that include the detailed information. So all this information is will be included in the Guide 34. And apart from that, because many aspects of CRM production requires the precise measurements, for example, homogeneity and stability testing, therefore a proper data evaluation is an integral part of the certification process. A CRM producers under the ISO Guide 34 must comply with ISO Guide 31, which is content and certificate and labels, and ISO Guide 35, which is general and statistical principle for certification. So now class, let's move to standard. So what is basically a standard? A standard is actually a known to compare with an unknown. Basically, okay, an acknowledged measure of comparison for quantitative or qualitative values. Okay, so the ISO definition for a primary standard basically consists of highest metrological quality. Okay, the value will be accepted, okay, with or without the reference to other other same quality standards. Okay, well, secondary standard is actually the value that assigned by the comparison with the same quantity of a primary standard. So class, basically primary standard will consist of highest metrological quality, okay, compared to the secondary standard. So now, what is the role of the standard? So class, Standards are used in the analysis for a quantification. Okay, so basically it can be for the external standard. Okay, it can be external standard or internal standard or standard addition method, all these. Okay, because in our analysis we are practicing all these class. Okay, and to find, calculate and correct the uncertainty in the process as well, to calculate the instrument uncertainty. Okay, calibration, calculate recovery. Okay, and apart from that, we can also find and eliminate error in our process. So I believe that all of you all will learn about uncertainty in detail, okay, with Dr. Low later. So now class, let's move to the reference material. So the ISO definition for reference material is basically a material or substance whose property, okay, values are sufficiently homogeneous and well established. Basically, why we are using reference material is for the basically it's for the calibration of an apparatus. Okay, we will use reference material. Assessment, okay, to assess the measured method or to assigning the values to materials. Okay, or for all these purpose class, okay, we will use the reference material. So now, what are the meaning of certified reference materials? So again here class, I need to emphasize. So a reference material, okay, will accompany by the certificate. Okay, one or more property values are certified by the procedures that established traceability and uncertainty, and it should contains the supplementary informations. Okay, for example, the certifying bodies, okay, method of measurements, material preparation, statistical treatment of results. So this is, okay, about the CRM. So the CRM information should be very clear class. Okay, so that's why, okay, basically CRM will give the evidence of metrological traceability and statement of measurements of uncertainty. Okay, if let's say these two things are provided in the bottle that you are going to purchase, so it will be a good certified reference material that you may use, okay, for your analysis. So class, here given is the example of the reference material. Okay, on your left hand side you can refer to the multi-element certified reference materials. So these are the actually the multi-element. So it's very easy to get CRM for multi-elements, and another one is the CRM for another type of chemicals. So analysis. So here you may refer to all the given analytes, the information, okay, on the bottles. Okay, you may also find all the information from the supplementary informations as well. So, okay, class, you may refer to the certified reference material, okay, the certificate of analysis given. Okay, these are the example of the certificate of analysis. Okay, the certified value, the uncertainty. So this actually the certificate is very important class. Okay, during your analysis. Okay, you may refer to this, okay, when we do the analysis. So class, let's move to the classification of reference materials. So basically, certified reference material and reference material. So the difference is certified reference material, okay, it can be traceable to an accurate realization of the unit in which the property values are expressed. So that as for the CRMs. So well, RM is actually the material where the property values are sufficiently homogeneous and well established to be used for the calibration of apparatus and assessment of the measurement method, or for the assigning value to materials. So basically class, again I need to emphasize here. So CRM, okay, the additional evidence of metrological traceability and statement of measurements of uncertainty, okay, will play, I mean that will be the main difference between the CRM and RM. Okay, so now, so these are the certificate, okay, of the CRM. Usually CRM, okay, all the information about traceability, uncertainty, use of the calibration, homogeneity, stability, certified values, and the supplementary information, or I mean all the information will be given in the certificate. So now class, okay, traceability and stability. So traceability is actually to trace a product from origin to the manufacturers and deliver receipt. So class, basically for CRMs, we have to ensure that it can be traced to up to their primary standard from where the CRM was produced, okay, and who are the manufacturers. It should be easily traceable, okay. That is CRM. And stability, okay class, this is very very important, huh? Okay, when we are talking about the CRM, it should not be reactive during the normal use one, and it should retain the properties in the expected time scale in the presence of expected conditions of application, okay. And well, unstable material, okay, it shouldn't corrode, decompose, polymerize, burn, or explode under the normal conditions. So all these are properties for the CRMs. So it should be stable, okay, and we will always will avoid the unstable materials, okay. Usually they don't give unstable material in the CRM. So homogeneity, so class, homogeneity is basically, it can be in bottle homogeneity or between bottle homogeneity. So basically homogeneity we refer to the uniform in the composition or character. So in bottle homogeneity is basically we have to check the product, okay, for the precipitation, or the product is like can be settled down out the solution which are still homogeneous, or they can be redissolved into the solution by the instruction with the material. For example, we can sometimes by sonification, heating or shaking, okay, we can dissolve the materials, or just to get to make the solution homogeneous. And between bottle homogeneity is very important, okay. For example, the samples multiply containers from each lot to check for the homogeneity, so it should be same between the bottles as well. The property and the compound should be same, okay. So class, now let's move to the error and uncertainty. So class, actually error, okay, the error is actually does not include the mistakes, okay. And okay, error is basically causes value, okay, is basically to differ, okay, to differentiate between the measurements, okay, when repeated, okay. None of the results are preferred over the others, so impossible to completely eliminate the error, but it can be still controlled and characterized. So basically class, error and uncertainty, actually uncertainty is actually the estimate attached to the certified value, which is characterized the range of the values where the true values lies within the stated confidence levels. So for example class, random effects or short-term fluctuation in the temperatures, humidity, static electricity and air pressure, okay. It can be also like variability in the performance of the analysis, okay, drift that can be encountered by the corrections, okay. It can be like that. So basically you have to know the difference between error and uncertainty. So error is usually can't be estimated, while uncertainty can be estimated, okay. Okay students, so basically the suitability of the reference material is actually depends on the details of the analytical specification that given. So matrix effects and the other factors such as concentration range can be more important than the uncertainty of the certified value. So the factors to consider is include the okay measurement including the analytes, okay, measurements concentration, okay, measurements range we can say, okay, matrix match and potential interference also, okay, can be one of the factor. Sample size, of course homogeneity and stability as discussed previously, okay. Measurements of uncertainty and value assigned procedures, okay, it's a measurements and statistical procedures also the factors, okay, that we have to consider, okay, when we are choosing the reference materials, okay. So now class, uncertainty sources, okay. Basically we can identify all the major uncertainty sources. It can come from balance, solvent purity, okay, tolerance of temperature, okay, the purity, solvent purity as well. It can come from volumetric flux, okay, syringe, pipette. Okay, I mean, it can come from various sources basically. Okay, so now primary reference material, secondary reference material, in-house or working reference material. Okay, in-house is basically in-house prepared in the laboratory. So basically, okay, by going up, okay, basically we can decrease the uncertainty. That means we can decrease the percent mistakes or the percentage of error. So class, because primary reference material will be more pure compared to the secondary, and of course in-house, okay, we can introduce some error during the preparation of in-house reference material. So basically class, reference materials are uses in for the method validation and measurements of uncertainty, verification of the correct use of a method for the calibration, and quality control and quality assurance procedures. So basically class, we can verify our results. Okay, we can verify our method, okay, the developed method, okay, is accurate or not by using the reference material. So when we have the CRM in our method, so basically the panel or the examiners or the your superior, okay, they will have more confidence in your data, okay, with your method. Okay, because you can get the certified values that written in the reference material if you can able to get the same or plus minus, okay, plus minus with the given standard deviation. So if you can able to get that, then that means that your method is good. Okay, so now let's move to the in-house preparation of reference materials. So basically class, high quality of reference materials are very demanding and costly, okay, to produce, and if the materials are available from other sources, basically it's not normally cost effective for laboratories to make their own. So however, should this to be necessary, so there are guidance available to help the non-specialist laboratories to prepare their own reference materials. So some of the key issues that need to be considered are selection of the materials. Basically, we have to investigate the native materials versus the spikes, the material preparation. Okay, of course, homogeneity testing, preparation and packaging is very important. Stability testing, certification studies, uncertainty estimation, documentation, and certificate approval, storage, distribution is very important class. All these factors are, all these are the key issues that need to be considered, okay, during the in-house preparation of reference materials. But sometimes class, it's very difficult to get the CRM for all the types of analysis. So sometimes you have to do your own reference materials to verify your data, because we have to order the reference CRM from NIST, okay, and very difficult for you to get CRM for all the analysis. One, second thing is very costly, and third thing, it will take a very long time. Okay, so that's why people don't really include CRM in their method. Okay, if you can able to include, then you can verify your method, and it can be more accurate. Okay, students, let's move to the uh, double accreditation or the gold standard. So as mentioned previously, ISO 17025 is a common standard in analytical chemistry, while ISO Guide 34 is more to CRM producers. So the quality of the CRM is depends on the analytical measurements capability. So the double accreditation is achievable by the by following both of these guidelines. Okay, basically, which is highest achievable quality and confidence level for the CRM producers, and this is called as the gold standard for CRM producers. So in 2004, the International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation, okay, has begun recommending this double accreditation for all the CRM producers. But however, very small group of institutes and companies worldwide are working at this level, okay, of certify the quality today. So class, these are the references that you may refer for further information. So thank you so much for your attention.